Today we're combining our cube and our value scale lessons to create one solid cube. I'm not going to talk through it as much as I did before because we've done this already. If you need to look, go back to the previous video. I did an eye level line, a vanishing point, and now I'm going to draw a square. I pre-cut out a template like I did before. Here's what I noticed. This is so light you can't see it. I'm going to pull out some of my drawing pencils. Just going to use a 2B. If you have drawing pencils, feel free to use them this year. I'm just going to trace around this again to make it a little bit darker without pressing harder so you can see what I'm doing. Now today, since I want it to be solid, I'm only going to draw from the corners that would actually be on the outside edge. That lower right hand corner would be going through the middle of my cube. It's not going to be a see-through cube, it's going to be solid. So I'm lining up with the corners of my square and going back to the vanishing point. Not that one. Look, if I actually went from this corner, I'd be drawing through the center of the cube. I don't need to do that. Now, how deep is this cube? Oh, let's see. I'm going to put a mark and then I'm going to move my ruler back, keeping it parallel. I'm going from the side of my cube. Now I'm going to show the top of my cube. I'm staying parallel with the top edge. That's why I'm moving my ruler back and lining up those lines. Cube done. Now I'm going to erase those lines that went back to the vanishing point. Now I want this cube to seem solid. I'm going to take that value scale from last week and use that in this week's drawing. I want it like there's a light shining on it, but I can't just shine a light on it because it's two-dimensional. If I do that, it looks a little something like this, and that doesn't work. So I could, if I wanted to, actually find a box around my house, set up a light, and see what that would look like. To have a reference. It's always nice to have a reference. Remember that value scale? Pull it out. This way you have a reference to how light or how dark you can get with your pencil. You can use that cross-hatching technique if you'd like. I'm going to do a demonstration with the blending technique. That's right, each lesson builds on the previous. Don't skip any. I'm going to add some value to the side. If I'm thinking my light's coming from the upper left, it's not going to be much value, but I do want some value. I'm going to have some value on the top, but again, that light's going to shine along the top. Notice how my pencil is sideways, right? Remember when I'm working with blending, my pencil's on its side, not that sharp point. I'm going to have this video very much sped up, right? I have a gentle hand. In order to make it darker, I overlap. That was the discussion we had in that value scale. Go back and watch it if you didn't watch it. It's kind of important. I'm going to add some value. And now I'm wondering, though, how well this is working out. So I'm going to grab my tissue, and I'm going to do some blending, kind of smooth stuff out, and see how well this pencil's working. I'm kind of liking it. So I'm going to go back and add some more value, darken some things up. When I'm adding value to something, I do it slowly. It's a building up process. So I add a little bit. I don't get too dark too fast. I do have an eraser this week, so I can use it to erase some areas that I get too dark, but it's best if I don't get too dark and have to try to erase like crazy. I'm definitely going to continue to blend using that tissue a lot. Now I'm going to use my pencil and darken up corners where the light would not come around the corner, so that would be a little bit darker. I'm going to lighten up the top. The light's hitting that. Those are called highlights. So I definitely want kind of the top edges to be lightened. I'm thinking this isn't a white box. It's probably a brown box or a gray box. So try the value overall should be a little bit darker. So I'm going to go add in a little bit more value. So here I'm just going to keep working, keep adding value, keep blending. I want these top edges where the light's not bending around to be a little bit darker. Maybe the bottom edge is a little bit darker. Maybe this is sitting on the ground. That's probably not floating, right? So if it's sitting, there would probably be some value on the edge. I'm going to keep working this. I could still work this a little bit longer. Remember, no one's going to have a photograph of a box next to it of what you are trying to draw. This is you acknowledging you understand lighting. You could have set up a light, right? To go, oh yeah, this kind of looks realistic. No one has the box next to it. It kind of feels like there's a light above it shining on the side. Keep working on it until you feel good. If you'd like to, add a second box. But don't forget that second box will be blocking some light. Enjoy this week. Watch previous lessons if you're not quite sure about how to do the box or do the value. Enjoy.